So what we're going to do here on this Thanksgiving, I guess we'll call it a special episode. I'm not going to have 2 episodes this week. We're going to recap everything that we normally do in one episode, but bring it all together here, trying to wrap it up quickly so we can get to talk about every game because there are a lot of them in the slate. So, Andy, are you ready to hear about what happened with the public betting data just right now? Let's get into it.
Yeah, it feels like old times when I'm about to receive all this live on air, so let's go.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it.
This is how we used to do things in last year's episodes of Sharpen the Public, but let's get into it. I talked about it. I thought the public was going to have a bad week after, a really good week, a mediocre week, and now this week the public went 5-8, Andy. I called it a bad week for the public. I'm happy that I was on the right end of that. They didn't do as bad as I thought they would. Still, 5-8 is very negative for them, and happy to see a prediction go correctly for me.
Yeah, we've been calling that for a minute, so I guess the blind squirrel finds his nut every now and again, right? But I do think that is going to be something we continue to see. We've just kind of missed a little bit on when we thought it was going to be. So I don't think that just because they were bad last week that it's going to stop and flip back on. I think that we will start to see a couple of these string together.
Exactly. Kind of falling back into line with the totals, still public on the overs, went 3-6, public on the under, 3-1. A lot of the same, a lot of what we consistently see here on Sharpen the Public. 0-4 for the public, above 65%. So that's good to see that they're back to their losing ways, consistently hitting terribly when betting a lot on the over. And then really nothing crazy on the under, 3-1. Nothing really to talk about there.
Yeah, things are continuing to push that way with the public being piss poor on the overs as well as the under continuing to do well. That was like part of the reason why I was looking at playing totals on Twitter. Or I played the Chargers and Packers under because I think they had the sharp and everyone else was on the over. So it's stuff like that I'm looking for now as we get closer to 1 o'clock because we have so many 1 o'clock Eastern on Sundays because we have so much data now to actually prove these general trends. And you can get a little cute with it too, like I did with Packers +3. I fell into your special 10 to 14% sharp, which we can I'm sure we'll touch on in a little bit. But stuff like that is super helpful to take plays that you maybe were leaning at first and push it over the edge, which with both those plays went 2-0 for me, and I was literally just telling the trends.
Yeah, it's awesome when stuff like that works out. Like that 21-7 trend ATS is now 22-7 next to the Packers being the only one to fall into that range and still covering. Yet the sharp differential went 4-9 ATS this week, which I did not expect. I thought they'd have a bounce back or not even a bounce back, a continuation of how good they've been doing because they went 11-3 ATS last week. However, 4-9 is not great. The golden rule, however, Andy, 3-2, another positive week for the golden rule, which is awesome to see. Crazy that 5 games finally fell into that because it feels like it's been a while. So we had the Panthers fell into that, the Bears, the Giants, the Jets, the Bucks, and the Titans. I bet the Titans, sadly, and I didn't have
horrible.
Anything. The Bucks.
I tried to tell you that too last week. I'm done with this whole Vrabel narrative. Oh, Vrabel's a dog again. Yeah, he's a dog because they're ass. Because they're really bad.
Yeah, I was really disappointed in myself. That was like a shot put one at the end while I was writing. I was like, I like this. I really like this, especially with the numbers. And it was just a bad play.
Yeah, I don't blame you either. Like I wasn't brave enough to actually go on the spread. I had the Jags teased.
Yeah, there's a lot that we can talk about when we get into each game as well. There's so much that I want to talk about. So try and roll through this quickly here. Money percentage went 4-9. Crazy to see everything do badly. And that's what I'm kind of saying, like, as I talked about at the beginning, a lot of the numbers really dependent, like, where everything fell and where everything landed, really depended on the number you got. Like, even the Broncos game last night was solely dependent on whether the Broncos got that 2-point conversion. And what the fuck was that 2-point conversion? Like, at the end of the day, that was horrible. But so many results this week ended that way, and I think that's why we see the public loss, the money loss, the sharp differential loss, public loss in the over, money percentage went negative. All of these things were bad. Money percentage went 4-9, which is just terrible. ATS above 65%, they went 2-5, and then 2-5 again, or 2-4 below 60%. So really just bad across the board, ATS wise.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. I think that's something to note as we preview Week 12.
For sure. Money percentage in the over 1-3, sharp differentially over 1-1. Money percentage on the under 6-3. Sharp differential on the under 8-3. A whopping 6-2 when the sharp differential on the under above 15%, and that's been absolutely killing it all year.
Yeah, unders just continue to cook. I don't know
It's
if
crazy.
that's necessarily a money and sharp thing. I think that's more just an unders are cooking this year.
Oh, it is. Yeah, 100% it is. I mean, if we look, it's what wins to the over 4-10 or 4-7 yesterday with totals. So another 4-7 to the over, so 7-4 to the under. Another under week.
Yeah,
and I talked about that a lot in my Reddit post. I thought that was going to happen. I thought the public was going to do badly, and they did. So happy to see some of my predictions come true, and that what we're doing makes a little bit of sense. But that's all for the week 11 trends. I'm going to start reading off the totals to date trends. 86 and 72 for the public, 54% win percentage now, dropping from 56 to 54. Money percentage to date, 81 and 77 at 51%. And then sharp differential, 80 and 78, another 51% trend. So public still doing better, obviously, but now they're all kind of dropping. You can't just blindly tail anything.
yeah. I think that's kind of what we said was going to happen, though, because it would be extremely unusual for the public to do well the entire year. And now they've had a successful 2023. It's going to close a little bit more bloody for them.
Yeah. The surprising thing for me is the sharp differential. Sharp differential at 80-78. Now 11 weeks into the season, you're kind of falling very far away from what they did in 2022, which was 145 and 120, which was a 55% win percentage. So they're going to need to make a significant improvement over this next couple of weeks to hit that. And if we stay away from that, then that's something to make note of. Or if we get back to it, definitely something to make note of. I'm going to be backing it, possibly getting back to what it was. So hopefully, we can see more consistent performances from the Geico Golden Rule, those high sharps, even though they did badly this week. And then, so I said it earlier, 22 and 7 between 10 and 14% sharp differential. Our best trend when it comes to ATS, which obviously hit with the Packers, moving to totals, 36 and 53 for the public backing the over, now 7 and 18, above 70%, which is great. And then totals are on the under, 42 and 26 is the public. Anything there?
What would be your biggest ones to take away out of that?
Definitely the 7 and 18 for the overs on the public. So like when you see the public on the over above 70%, it's 7 and 18. So you obviously want to take the under. And then unders with low confidence is surprisingly doing well. 17 and 9 when the public is 54%, 53%, 52, or 51 on and under. So pretty impressive. I mean, you can add the 6 and 4. I mean, it's relatively even across the board elsewhere. It's 8 and 6 above 70%. So 17 and 9 is definitely the biggest one for the public on the under there.
Yeah, agreed. The 7 and 18 one on public overs greater than 70% too is wild, but predictable. When everyone and their mother's betting on the over, you do want to take the under. and I think that we try to shy away from that narrative a bit with this podcast, but of just fading the public. But totals kind of do fall into that category where the public on overs is not great. Not great historically, not great this season, and in large confidence, they are not just not great, they are piss poor.
Yeah, 9 and 20 last season, 7 and 18 this season for that specific number. And that's a good point for the general podcast. I mean, it's focused on providing context to all of the numbers, all of the ranges, but specifically when it comes to public betting the over specifically, they're just straight up bad and have been historically. And that's why we're seeing numbers drop significantly lower. And the average totals between 41 and 42 every week. Anyway, money percentage on the under, 58 and 41 through the season. Sharp differential on the under, 77 and 48, a 62% win percentage. Money percentage on the over, 23 and 37, a 38% win percentage. And then the sharp differential on the over, 15 and 18. Best trend there, 5 and 1 for the sharp differential between 15 and 19% on the over. So that's cool. But it's kind of rare, obviously, only happening 6 times in the however many games we've had throughout the season, 160-ish. And then, obviously we've been talking about this one a lot, but 44 and 20 for sharp differential between 5 and 19 on the under. Really awesome to see.
I'm pumped that we're actually far enough along that we're able to start to make takeaways on these trends. So it's cool. It's fine. I'm glad that we're finally to this point because I feel like the first half of the season it's tough to derive what's right, what's wrong, and what's notable and what's not. Yeah,
and that's what we getting to talk about this stuff weekly, is we see how things fluctuate every day, and we can make comparisons to last year, and we have a lot more information. So there's a lot of things we can do to derive to make winning plays, and recently it's been working for us. So I'm excited to try and predict this week, because we've obviously got the 3 Thanksgiving games. We've got a Black Friday game for, I don't know if this is the first time ever, but feels like
it is the first one ever. Yeah,
first time ever, and then several other games to talk about. So wow, all right, 16 games, Andy. We got through it all. Thursday night, hopefully everyone can spend some great time with their family. Thank you for checking us out. As always, this is Sharpen the Public, the only sports betting podcast focused on leveraging public betting information so we can win more bets in the NFL. We're the only people that really track it like this. We talk about how the public does every week. We update you every week on the trends and money and sharps and all that fun stuff. So thank you for checking us out. If you have any questions, reach out to us on Twitter at DJH Sports or at AndyHH Sports. We have weekly articles, NFL, NBA, anything you name it, all sports betting related. MMA, anything sports betting related, we've got it. We are your guys at happyhoursports.net. Thank you again, as always.
Again, excited to take a little time off, spend some time with the family, and hope you all are too. But again, we'll be active on Twitter throughout the holidays. I know I will be. So stay tuned. Make sure to follow us at Deej HH Sports and at Andy HH Sports, because we'll be tweeting out plays for Thanksgiving as well as for the Black Friday and Sunday games. So can't wait, man. It's going to be nice to be home and relax for a bit.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Like I did last year, I'll have a Thanksgiving Day article as well as a Sunday article. So expect 2 plays or posts from me this week, always with all my plays tracked as I do every week. So you can check all that stuff out on happyhoursports.net. If you're listening on YouTube, thank you guys so much for checking us out. Please subscribe to the channel as we continue to grow here. We're getting a few comments here and there, so appreciate you guys all coming out and supporting us. And yeah, we appreciate it as always. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your time with your family. But we will see you in the next one.
Peace, guys. The boys bet better with beer.